Interestingly, the entry to the Lexus range in South Africa, and why I say interesting is the fact that the ES that we've got here on test is not the smallest car in the Lexus range. But there are reasons for it, one of which is the fact that it's front-wheel drive as opposed to rear-wheel drive of the rest of the range. Quite honestly, in a car like this, it doesn't matter to me. It was facelifted late last year, and you can see very minor changes to the headlights, the daytime running lights. The massive Lexus spindle grille has changed slightly as well, and very interestingly, from the honeycomb pattern, if you look closely, it's actually made up of the Lexus L's now. Just a little touch and a feature that I find quite fascinating, quite honestly. But of course, it's a typical Lexus, that massive grille, the long bonnet. You've got all these features you'd expect on a Lexus. And nice 17-inch mag wheels over here. Remembering that this is the entry-level model. As I said, the SE, you get an EX at the top of the range. We'll talk more about that just now. But you can see it is a long, low sedan. It really is. It's a long car. And if we pop open the back door right now, you have a look. You can also see while we're showing you, of course, the trim on the car here with a tan leather with a black edging to it and black to it. But have a look across at the driver's seat in particular. I always like to show you that. And you'll see the position and you'll see the legroom in the back. That really is plenty of legroom in the rear. Also in the center console over there, you've got aircon vents for the rear passengers, always good. And you've obviously got a 12-volt and USBs in the rear for rear seat passengers. All features that are important and definitely wanted in any car. And especially in a car that wants to play in the executive segment of the market. Long, low, tapering rear end. You can see it's almost got that coupe-esque look that's become so popular these days. You come around to the rear over here, and you'll see our model we've got on test, as I said, the ES250, which tells me that it's powered by a 4-cylinder 2.5-litre petrol engine, putting out 152 kilowatts, 243 newton meters of torque. It's not a ball of fire, no, but it certainly is actually more than adequate for this car to fulfill its role as a real cruiser. Pop open the boot, which is really big. You can see, look at the space there, look how far it goes, and you have got what is known as the ski hatch at the back over there that you can pop open to put longer items through in the boot if you really wanted. Lift up over here, and you've got now, as has become so popular, the toolkit, and then a space saver spare wheel. The less said the better on that one. Bit of a flimsy little board over here on top of it, but I really don't think that matters too much. Again, on this model now, because it's not the top of the range, wow, you've got to do it yourself to close the boot and not just press a button. I think I could live with that too, couldn't you? But these are features not that important, not that major, but they are there. But you can see nice big sedan for people who still want sedans. Let's check it out, what it's like on the road and, of course, behind the wheel. Driving around in suburbia, it's smooth, it's comfortable, it's luxurious, it's all these things you'd expect from your luxury large sedan. It's a category of car that's, sadly almost dying. I love them, I must be honest. There are times when I do prefer these to big, bulky SUVs. But of course, it's, you pay your money, you take your choice. But the thing about this car is, I mentioned the engine. It's not a ball of fire, but of course it's matched that ultra smooth Lexus 8-speed automatic gearbox that you'll never even feel a shift. You don't even know about it. I'm sure put your foot down hard and you may feel a harder shift. Or over here, if you just come across to the dashboard, you'll see this knob over here where you can go from eco, normal, sport. Well, quite honestly, I put it in sport for a few minutes during this test, but it's just one of those cars that you don't feel like using sport mode at all. It just doesn't feel like it's necessary or that it's going to make that much difference, quite honestly. And you can cruise all day at the speed limit, so why do you really need it? I don't know, but everybody has to have it these days. and it just changes your shift points. It'll hang on to the gears a lot longer, things like that. But it's really, really not an important feature to me in this particular car. What is important to me is just, as I said, the gliding along, the ultra smooth. And whether you're in suburbia or whether you're on the freeway or the open road, it's one of those cars that I believe, and I've driven it as such, that you relax and just enjoy the journey. Of course, the thing of this car and the biggest feature is its cruising ability. You put it on a freeway, I'm doing 110 odd at the moment, and I could cruise all day in this car. It's a larger sedan, obviously. It's got the comfort, it's got the luxury. There's more than enough power at 152 kilowatts that from this 2.5 litre 4-cylinder petrol engine. And if you're going to go for this category, this class of car, what better cruiser could you possibly ever want than this? And you could sit on this freeway, as I said, you could take it down to Durban and it would just be an absolute cruise. There's quite a bit of traffic around, so I can't do 120 right now, but I'm sure you can get the impression, get the feeling of just how smooth, how comfortable this 8-speed automatic gearbox, like butter. You don't even feel the shifts. There's nothing you actually pick up that you feel while you're driving along and cruising along in this car. You've got the cruise control, you've got all those things if you want them. I'm not using it right now, obviously, and that is really, really, to me, where this car would come into its own. Starting off as always behind the wheel, let's have a look. Well, the instrumentation is so generic Toyota Lexus, I'm not even going to say much more about it. Let's leave it at that. But what I do want you to see is we've done about 400 kilometers on this test. Very, very general driving, a trip to Hearties, freeway and urban, and I'm showing 7.6 liters per 100. Also take note below, this car's only got 2,700 kilometers on the clock so far, so it is still pretty new. I'm sure that figure can improve a little bit, but it's quite a good figure for a car of this sort, so let's leave it at that. But you come down, of course, you've got your cruise control over here, you've got your multifunction steering wheel, you've got everything. I mean, you all know about all these features. I'm not going to spend too much time on them. I showed you over there, of course, you've got that knob up there for the sport, etc., sport mode, and over there, if you really dare want to turn off the DSC, really up to you, it's up to your choice. And you do have paddles for the 8-speed auto gearbox. Again, really on this car, I don't know, but anyway, it's there, so let's just leave it at that. But you come over to the center, you've got this nice big center screen. Again, very typical, works perfectly. Let's have a look at the menu, and there you go. You've got your menu, you've got everything you want over there, and you can set everything up as you wish. Something that Toyota have done recently, Toyota Lexus have done recently, and I can't say I agree with, is they now no longer putting navigation as standard on the vehicles. You've got to use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto and match it that way. I don't know. I would still prefer to have it, but that's me. Down over here, you've got your ventilation, you've got your full controls for, of course, your full climate control system. All very basic, very standard, but works extremely well. Then below that, look here, you have got bum warmers for your front seats, both driver and passenger. And then under that, I do like this little feature. First of all, we've got a flap to close over there. Makes it very neat, but this one over here holds your cell phone perfectly. Really nice to have it, and also you can stand your cell phone up in portrait, and when you're using navigation, if you're not on Android Auto, you can actually still see what's going on maps over there. Another nice feature, 2 USBs and a auxiliary socket right there for the driver, which is neat and nice. Your gearbox, I've told you, and of course the scroller for the touchscreen over there, the Lexus scroller. Well, Lexus, it's getting a bit, but I'm not going to complain. It works very well, nice and easy to use. You've got a nice big compartment over here under the armrest, and look at this. If you can just can the camera show it? You've got another 2 USBs and another 12 volts over there as well. So you're certainly well catered for in all of this. The quality of the interior, obviously, I don't even have to, I don't think, show you too much. You know what it's like. And you've got the, I don't know if you saw that as I switched off the engine, what they call the comfort seating. So in other words, the steering wheel does lift up away from the driver to get in and out. For fat cats that drive Lexus, who knows, but it's there for you and it's nice. It is good to have. You've got the different layers on the dashboard. It's all beautifully put together, the stitching, contrasting stitching, things like that. And you do get a standard sunroof over here as well, up above the driver. Again, a nice feature to have and something that I like, as everybody knows. So these are all features you get with it. Now, there are a couple of things about Lexus in general that you need to take note of. One of which, of course, is the standard maintenance plan, 7 years and 105,000 kilometers, which is longer than most, as I'm sure you understand, and that's an interesting factor that they give you that. Lexus obviously stand behind their product, which is good. I haven't mentioned price to you yet, but I think I need to. And this particular model, the entry to Lexus and to the ES range, comes in at 720,000 Rand, which, remembering there are no extras and no options boxes to tick with Lexus. That's what you see is what you get and what you pay. So very important. But there is a similarly spec'd hybrid version available at 775. And I must say, I would consider that very carefully. To go to the hybrid, you can save 25-30% on your fuel. You get that little bit of better acceleration, responsiveness from the electric assistance to the engine with a hybrid, things like that. And if I was putting my money down now, I've had so much exposure to hybrid lately, I would certainly take a good look at that. Something else just to tell you on the spec levels of this car, of course, you've got that level of safety, the Lexus safety suite. And you get items like lane departure, blind spot warning, all of those. But there's one other one on this car that actually affected me twice during this test, and I want to mention it to you. And that is the autonomous emergency braking. And let me tell you, it works. Boy, does it work. I had a situation where, reversing out of a parking bay, two pedestrians very quickly came walking behind the car, and it was in the dark. I almost got whiplash the way the car stopped itself. That's how harsh it is. But it's good. I'm not complaining. I'm just telling you it works. And that's so important. And that's the point of buying a car at this level, is the added safety that you get. So you want your family to be safe, you've got to look at safety spec on every car you buy. Think about that. For Motor Matters, I'm Eleanor. I'll see you next time.